in live poker tournaments. Live poker tournaments right now, today, are booming. The World Series of Poker has very large fields and local casinos everywhere. The games are great. And if you want to run deep in tournaments, you must learn good, strong, fundamentally sound poker, but also you need to know when to go for big exploits to take advantage of whatever mistakes your opponents are making. And today, in this webinar, you are going to learn how to play deep stacked poker with the idea that we are trying to build a big stack early. We're also going to learn how to crush weak players near the bubble to continue allowing you to grow your big stack and push your opponents around. And finally, some post-flop exploits to help you crush specifically live poker tournaments. So yeah, let's get right to it. If you all are here, please let me know. Am I at the World Series? Not right now. I'll be at the World Series in 2 days. It is time. It is time. All right. Mastering deep stack poker is vitally important to building big stacks and running deep in tournaments. You cannot sit there and just play only the nuts and get your money in and hope to win. If you sit there and play the nuts only, as a lot of players think that's what good poker is, you're going to inevitably blind out. And when you inevitably blind out, well, you lose. You do not win poker tournaments by getting deep with a tiny stack, because then, yeah, you're going to cash some chunk of the time, maybe even more than average, but you're very rarely going to win. And that's a problem. So in the early stages, you need to steal pots that do not belong to you, while also building an image that's going to result in you getting paid off late in the tournament. And 2 keys to deep stacked poker are making a point to play in position and ideally with hands that have very good post-flop playability. Is this live? No, it's delayed about 3 seconds. Sorry about that. I can't make it go any faster. Let's take a look. Here we are playing 250 big blinds deep. 6-4 suited, early in a $3,500 buy-in tournament. We raise it up. Big blind makes it 1,700. What should we do? Take a second, think about it. Write it in the comment section, write it in the chat box. A lot of people in this scenario think, let's just let it go, we're probably behind. And obviously we're going to be behind with the 6 high, but being behind is not actually all that relevant. You have to ask, will I realize the required amount of equity to continue? So in this scenario, we have to put in 1,200 chips to try to win 3,700 total. So we realize 33% equity or more in position. And I think we definitely will with any sort of suited connector, especially one that's kind of unlikely to be dominated. So this is a very, very easy spot to call. It's a small 3-bet. I mean, look, most people 3-bet to 3 times the initial raise in all scenarios, no matter what. Now, of course, if you are here watching this, hopefully you know you should be 3-betting far bigger from out of position, especially when you're playing very deep stacked. So yes, this is a small 3-bet. Especially facing a small 3-bet, you should be very, 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 very inclined to call and see the flop. Okay? You lost a big hand with 6-4 suited to a higher flush, therefore we should fold. Nice joke. Easy call. King 6-4, we get the nuts this time. If you don't get a good hand, just get out of the pot. Okay? Opponent bets 1,200. What should we do? In position, with 2 pair, against a small bet. So this is an interesting scenario where when the opponent bets small-ish like this, and we are super duper deep stacked, I think we just need to raise. I would much prefer to be able to just call to keep the opponent in with all sorts of junk. The problem, though, is that if they do have a king, we just want to get money in, and there are a lot of bad turns for a king, like any club. And if they have nothing, we're going to be kind of unlikely to get paid off anyway. If the opponent bet bigger, like pot, I'd be way more inclined to just call. But because we are super deep, I think we do need to raise. And I'm going to make it kind of big here in relation to their bet because they did bet so small. So we do go 4,500, which is great. They call. Good. Now, a lot of people right here think, oh no, I could be beat by pocket kings. And yeah, you could be. But more often than not, the opponent's going to have aces, or ace-king, or king-queen, or king-jack, or some sort of club draw. Turns a 9 of diamonds, which is exactly what we're looking for. Opponent checks. Should we bet? We could be beat, but again, we have the best hand almost always. Okay? We are going to want to continue betting with a chunky size. Pot's 12K. We're going to go 8, maybe even slightly bigger is ideal, like 10. We want to be able to ideally jam the river. Jam says, should we bet 60%? We want to bet an amount that will allow us to reasonably shove the river and it not look obscenely big. And I think something like this size is fine. I think pot might be a touch too big. It might start to scare out some people. I mean, in the ideal world, they stick around with 2 outs. Well, I guess they have more than 2 outs if they have pocket jacks, don't they? But this is a spot where I think we do want to have them stick around with any king and hopefully some worse hands. I think when we start going really big, they will start folding out some hands like jacks every time. And to be fair, maybe they should just fold out jacks. It's an annoying spot for them, but it is what it is. The pot feels weird because we are capped. What do you mean we're capped? We're capped at what? Middle set? Middle set's like the nuts. Opponent jams us. All right. Well, what do we lose to here? We lose to king 9. They could have king 9. We lose to pocket 9s. They could have that. We lose to pocket kings. They could have that. Lose to king 6. They could have that. But easy call. Super duper easy call. Dark Knight says, a lot of these questions depends on the opponent's strategy. Well, obviously, you're not going to know your opponent's strategy early in the tournament because we just got here. Okay? Whenever you don't know what your opponents are doing, you need to presume they are reasonable players. Now, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Sometimes you can look and tell. Sometimes you cannot look and tell. Obviously, you could know that your opponent is a super duper nit. How are we doing against a super duper nit in this spot? I think fine enough. They could easily have ace king or aces and just be overvaluing it. They could have a flush draw like ace 9 of clubs and just decide to rip it in on us. You say side call. This is an easy call. This is not even a close one. This is just call happily. What do we lose to? Seriously, what do we lose to here? Are they going to 3-bet us with the king 9 preflop? Maybe, but probably not. Are they going to 3-bet us with 9s? I mean, I guess they could have 9s and kings. What does a reasonable player shove here? Not a ton, really. But to be fair, they're shoving something. This is a spot where I do not think the opponent should be shoving all that often. And so you got to realize when the opponent should not be shoving all that often, and I got to presume they should not be shoving all that often, when they do shove in this scenario, well, probably presumes they're not great. What can we beat? Aces, and ace-king, and flush draws. Primarily pair with a flush draw. What do we beat? We beat a ton. What do we lose to is a better question. Seriously, what do we lose to here? I mean, I guess like king 6 suited, we block that to death. One combination of that. King 4 suited, we block that to death. There's one combination of that. What else you got? Pocket 9s. Yeah, pocket 9s exist. Pocket kings exist. There's 3 combinations of each of those. So what, we're losing to a whopping 8 combinations of hands. We lose to 8 hands here. I mean, I guess 6s and 4s. 9, 10. We lose to 10 hands. 10 hands. Is the opponent ever going to overvalue aces? Quite possibly. There's 6 right there. Will they ever overvalue ace-king? Possibly. There's that right there. What about king-queen? Maybe not. What about king with flush draw? Quite possibly. So anyway, this is a trivially easy call. A lot of people in this spot get scared and they think, oh no, I lose. Just got to call. Sorry, re-enter. Get ready to lose. Ace and king. Probably not a great shove, but hey, whatever. We get it in. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. It's okay either way. Ace 10 suited, facing a raise from the hijack. What do we do on the button? 250 big blinds deep. I think you can mix it up between call and 3-bet. I definitely prefer 3-bet in general when we are super deep. You should be mixing it up a little bit whenever you are playing deeper and deeper and deeper stacked, and I think we can reasonably 3-bet this hand, and if we get 4-bet, we can conceivably call. Now, if they blast it to like 10,000 or something, we'll fold. But this is a spot where we continue. Flop comes. King, Jack, 7. Opponent checks. Should we bet with our ace high only? River was an ace or a king, LOL. You got to realize it does not matter what comes. I think a lot of people like think it's funny or a joke, or like it's funny to say that, oh, I always get unlucky. But no, you don't. You get unlucky exactly as often as you should, assuming you are someone who gets to the long run. Obviously, if you play far too big for your bankroll, you won't get to the long run. And that's a big error on your part. We are here to study and get good at poker and understand that sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. That is how it goes. That is why you have to play properly bankrolled. Anyway, nice spot to continuation bet. We go tiny here. I might go a little bit bigger. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Some people say bet big. Sure, whatever. This is a spot where I think we do have to be a little bit careful because this is going to line up pretty nicely with their range. Are you worried about a check raise? No, because we're not going to fold. The nice thing about betting with a high equity draw is you're not folding. We do get raised. Oh no, what do? We got raised. Well, don't fold. Call and try to get there. Do not re-raise. Whenever your opponent check raises here, they are announcing very clearly that they love their hand. Either meaning they have a good high equity made hand or they have a good high equity draw. What high equity draws are available when we have the ace 10 of hearts? Well, not a lot. Maybe they have some junky draw, like a gut shot, 9-8 of clubs or something. They could have that. Not a whole lot of those. So this is just an easy call. Some people think, oh, well, we're behind, we should fold. No, don't fold. Some people say, queen 10 of clubs. Yeah, that's one combination. Find a lot of them, though. Find a lot of combinations of bluffs. When you block the most logical high equity draws, you, in turn, should presume your opponent's range does not have mostly high equity draws, which means they're way more inclined to have either one of the very few high equity draws, some sort of low equity draw, or a made hand. Do you want to re-raise against a made hand? How are we doing against pocket jacks, pocket sevens, king jack, king 7 suited? Not very good. So we call. Then we just get there. Now you may say, easy to win terms when you just get there every time. You got to realize, quite often you don't get there. We're discussing here how to get a big stack, and the way to get a big stack is to win a ton of chips whenever you happen to make good hands. A lot of people screw up these spots, and they don't play big pots when they have a big hand. Opponent bets 4K. Do we raise or do we call? We have to call this time. I don't mind raising. It's a tough one, though, because, again, if you think about the opponent's flop check raising range, does it contain many very premium hands at this point? I think the answer is no. Right? At this point, they're going to have a lot of king jacks, which just got way worse. Queen 10s, that just improved but are drawing dead. Also, some sets which are high equity hands, and then also some nonsense draws. And we really want to keep the nonsense draws in. We really want to keep the flush draws in. We really want to keep the 2-pair in. Queen 10. So the only thing we're really losing a lot of value from, I think, is a set. Right? Assuming king jack and king 7 will fold to a turn raise. I do think when the opponent goes smallish on the turn like this, maybe they are weighted towards like the weaker made hands. It's tough to know. Obviously, you can't presume that you know what a random player is going to be doing. Anyway, some people are rooting for a heart on the river. I would venture to say a heart on the river is quite bad. Because whenever a heart comes on the river, now sets get way worse for them, and my range looks a whole lot like a heart. Heart on the river, that's annoying. They bet 12K. That's good. This is just easy all in. even if the heart did not come, obviously we're going to go all in on the river. If the river paired the board and they bet 12K, we would just call, okay? This is a spot where on the river, if the board pairs, you have to realize they could easily have sets, right? This is a spot where when the board pairs and they bet, just call. Yeah, you lose sometimes. They could still be value betting worse. Here, people are saying, well, you cannot re-raise aggro. If you re-raise, that means someone raised already. No one raised yet, he just bet. So the opponent made a bet. A bet is the first aggressive action. Should we raise small or go all in? And the only answer here is all in. Kind of hard to get called. It is kind of hard to get called. But what are you going to do? I mean, the opponent's basically saying they have a very good hand. Now, if they do bet 12 and we shove, what should they call with? Ugh. Terrible spot for them. But they should like fold almost everything, I got to think. I mean, this is a spot where we have to be very careful because they're going to be showing up with a lot of flushes. Should we ever min raise? Absolutely not, unless you think your opponent will call a min raise with everything and fold to a shove with everything. Now, some people will, some people won't. I don't know what the opponent's going to do, but my shoving range here should be flushes and ace of hearts. And to be fair, I'm probably under bluffing here just like everybody else. And the opponent should fold almost everything here. Everything besides a flush, probably. They call, though, and they give us all their money with a bad bluff catcher. Not a nicely played hand by the opponent, but that's how it goes in $1,500 tournaments. Sometimes people give it away. You get here with basically zero bluffs. What do you mean zero bluffs? Any ace of hearts gets here. Ace of hearts, king. Ace of hearts, queen. Ace of hearts, jack. Maybe we fold those to the turn bet. What about 24? 24 leaves a ton of money on the table. You got to realize, whenever you go for a minimum raise versus a big raise, you need your opponent to call you substantially more often. And that is a problem, because quite often they will not call you substantially more often, because either they have a good hand or they don't. Anyway, we get full value. We play in position with playability. And more often than not, those spots are going to work out. You have to make sure you just don't give it away with bad two pair like our opponents did in that scenario. Next, you need to exploit players near the bubble. Most players are way too tight as they near the bubble. They care so much about cashing that they do not give themselves a chance to actually run deep where they can eventually win. What they do is they sit around, they blind out, they try to play small and medium pots, and all you have to do is just make them not play small and medium pots, and you do that by being aggressive. You're going to want to pick spots near the money bubble to 3-bet with a wider range than normal, to raise with a wider range than normal, and to bluff more often in general, especially against players who really care about getting in the money. Some of these players, especially in overly soft tournaments like World Series of Poker tournaments, or any tournament where players really care about getting a cash, perhaps where they're playing far too big for their bankroll, they'll just tell you they have a spot where they really don't want to bubble. I mean, multiple times I've had scenarios where people have said very clearly, like, I need to take 4th place so I can pay off my house. That literally happened to me when I won at WPT, one of those trophies back there. The opponent announced out loud to everybody at the table, I would love to take 4th place so I can pay off my house. And you know what they did? They blinded out till 4th place, and then they punted off their money once they got 4th place, and they were happy as can be. Another time, on the bubble of a random World Series $1,500 tournament, I raise with ace-queen. Folds around to the small blind. He goes all in for like 12 big blinds. I'm getting out my calling money, obviously. He says, please don't call. I have aces. I'm like, oh yeah? Then he keeps talking about how he has $15 to his name and how he really needs this $3,000 cash. Okay, I believed him. I folded. He showed me the aces. He got his min cash. He was happy as can be, and I did not put my money in, drawing almost dead. So you want to make sure that when you find people like this, and they are all over the place, they just don't literally announce it. When you find people like this, you need to be pushing them around substantially, because that's a great way to build a nice stack. Let's take a look. Ace, 5, offsuit. We raise it up. Notice the stacks here. We're playing with a 40 big blind stack in the $1,500 milli maker. They want to make a milli. 50 off getting in the money, which is actually not that close to getting in the money. It's kind of close, not that close. Who knows how long we're going to be here, especially in tournaments where people really care about getting a cash. These bubbles sometimes last forever. Anyway, we're going to raise it up. This is a spot where ace 5 is normally, not a particularly great spot. We're probably going to raise it, but we raise it. We raise it up. Big blind, who really wants to cash, calls. Flop comes. King, 10, 6. Big blind checks. Obviously, we're going to bet with everything on this flop. We do not need to go big. We do not want to set the opponent up to jam us at this point, which, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't really care if they stick around pretty wide because I already know what we're going to be doing on most turns. They check the turn, and now we are going to apply substantial pressure. Now, what a lot of people do wrong here is they go for a small bet again. They bet small on the flop, small on the turn, and then huge on the river. The problem is that you let the opponent realize their equity with whatever draws they have, and perhaps even with stuff like middle pair by doing that. And that's a problem. Instead, you just want to bet big. If they have a good hand, they're going to put their money in. If they don't, they're going to fold. And then we don't have to bluff the river. We can bet 35K or 40K in this scenario into the 42K pot, and if they continue, we're probably done with it. The great thing about this hand in particular is if they do decide to get splashy with a draw, like Queen Jack or something, and they check call, well, we're going to win when they check it on the river, which is fantastic. If the big blind really wants to cash, we're going to loosen up with a big stack and open ace-x from early position. Yes. We're going to be raising pretty wide, especially with ace-x blocker that blocks their shoving range. We do go 40K here, and they let it go. I don't know what they had, but we win the pot. And doing this kind of thing near the bubble is going to result in you winning lots and lots and lots of small and medium-sized pots that don't belong to you. Like right here, I mean, maybe we could naturally run this bluff, but it's a spot that's certainly dicey. On the bubble, though, this is an excellent spot to go for it. Make the bets, steal the pots, and chip up. Finally, my number one exploit against most players in live poker is to drastically overfold to river aggression. A lot of people hate to put all their money in a spot that they think it is close. And for that reason, they often do not bluff. They just don't do it. They get scared, they get chicken, and they do not make the bluff. So, if you want to run deep, stop hero calling river bets when people want to play for lots of money. Now, I do realize some people may say, won't your opponents just start bluffing a ton if you're going to be folding a lot of the rivers? They don't know what you're going to do on the river unless you have a YouTube channel and you announce it to them. So your opponents aren't going to know that you're going to be overfolding on the river. So when they want to put in a lot of money, get out of the way. If someone is bluffing too infrequently, a lot of people think the exploit is to call a little bit less often. But the exploit is actually to never hero call with hands that do not beat any of their value range. You should be drastically overfolding, far more than you think, most likely. Let's take a look at the spot. Again, from the Millie Maker. Oh, it just makes me laugh every time. All right, low jack raises. We have king jack suited on the button. Fine, call, whatever. 3-bet if you feel like it, but mostly call. Get top pair, that's good. 3 ways. Low jack bets half pot. Well, I will call. Obviously, we cannot fold. Anytime anyone bets into multiple players, assuming they're decent, you certainly do want to be a little bit cautious because they should have a strong range. So keep that in mind. Turns a queen. They bet 15K, half pot again. Half pot on flop, half pot on turn. Obviously call. You cannot fold top pair and straight draw. If they check on the river, I'm probably not even going to value bet here. This is a spot where we certainly could be beat. The only time you can really value bet is if you know kind of certainly that they would always bet ace king and better. Now, if they'll always bet ace king and better, we have the best hand by a mile. Some people will get tricky. Some people will get scared. You don't know what they're going to do. Maybe we still do get to go for value on the river, though, if they check. The problem is our only bet size in the spot on the river is going to be all in. And it starts to feel a little bit dicey because are they really going to call with, what, king 9 on the river? Do they even have king 9s? We block that. Are they going to call it with ace queen on the river? I don't know. Maybe not. So anyway, they go all in. Now, in GTO world, this is a trivially easy call. Why? Because we beat all the bluffs. The opponent probably is not value betting thinly, but they will have tons of bluffs. However, a lot of people in this scenario have no bluffs. You think your opponent's really just going to have the random ace-x and run it? Maybe they will, but probably not. So if they're not going to take random ace-x and just run the bluff, or random pocket fours and run the bluff, what are we beating? Which value hands are we actually beating in this scenario? It's hard to find any, really. Are they really going to value bet ace-queen on the turn? I mean, maybe they will, but they're probably not going to shove it on the river. Now, if they will value shove stuff like ace-queen and queen-jack and queen-9 and ace-10, well, then obviously don't go about folding. But most people in this scenario simply are not going to be bluffing anywhere near often enough, so fold. Fold the top pair. I hate folding the top pair. It does not make me happy, but you got to get out of the way when your opponent lacks lots and lots of bluffs. Well, they bet queen-jack. What, for value or as a bluff? What are they even doing with queen-jack? It would be a horrible bet with queen-jack on the river. Because if I have two pair, I'm just always going to call. If I have a straight, I'm always going to call. Obviously, I have all of that in my range. By the way, don't forget, you have lots of two pair and lots of straights in your range. So you get to fold stuff like this. Well, so by the way, like, I just want to make it clear. If the opponent had queen-jack, they should not bet the turn. Because if they bet the turn with queen-jack and they get called, they are in miserably bad shape. A lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And typically when you have a nice solid middle pair, you're not really trying to make your opponent fold top pair. Middle pair is not a good bluffing hand. Okay? Anyway, we just let it go. What'd they have? I don't know. We folded. It's okay to not know. I'm telling you, right here, I can guarantee you, no one's bluffing often enough in this scenario with low pocket pairs, with ace high, with pairs that ended up being trash. They're just not doing it. No one's taking the ace-5 offsuit and just running the bluff. Maybe they are sometimes, but not very often at all. So that's it. 3 tips to help you run deep and no-limit hold'em. First, you need to master deep stacked poker, understanding that position and playability are everything, and you need to be trying to get all of your opponent's money. Not a little bit of their money, all of their money. Next, you need to be exploiting players near the bubble. If a player really wants to cash, or they really want to move up a payout jump, turn on the pressure because they want you to take all the small pots. So take them. Fine. Finally, fold to aggression because people do not bluff often enough, especially on the river and when lots of money comes into the pot. You need to be disciplined and you need to find folds. For all of us Americans, Independence Day is tomorrow. So I'm going to let you watch the World Series of Poker main event for free if you are a poker coaching member. I'm excited to get to the World Series of Poker tomorrow. Some of you are saying, are you going to the World Series? Yes, literally in 2 days. It's going to be a lot of fun. Why did I not go earlier? People want to know. Because I have a family. I've got a wife and 2 kids. I work in a button factory, and I need to stay home and take care of making lots of content for pokercoaching.com members, and also because I have a wife and kids. It's summertime. I need to be around here. I like being around here. I'm in a nice spot where I don't have to go out and grind the summer the entire time. Now, the real reason I did not go out there all that often is I did not like the schedule. The schedule had all of the high-stakes tournaments about a week apart, which is terrible for high-stakes tournament players because it forces them to go out there for the whole summer and play 1 tournament a week. I'm not going to Vegas to play 1 big tournament a week. It's just not happening. So I didn't go. There are lots of tournament series. I can play whenever I want. So yeah, I'm going out to play the main event and lots of other tournaments after that. I'm going to be there for 2 weeks. I found that I like my tournament series to be about 2 weeks. They have a 10K at the win as well. So there's 10K main event, then another 10K main event at the win with a 20 million guaranteed, a bunch of other stuff. And that's that. Where do I work? It's a children's song. It's a children's song where you have a wife and a family and you work in a button factory. If you don't have kids, you would not know it. All right. So anyway, if you have a poker coaching premium membership, you can watch the World Series of Poker free. Also, today, I'm excited to announce we have a brand new tool available for poker coaching premium members. And this new tool is going to provide you a fun, interactive way to learn preflop GTO ranges without having to feel like you're sitting there memorizing them. It's not fun to sit there and memorize charts. So we made a program on poker coaching called Clear the Charts. It's our new GTO preflop trainer that will help you learn GTO scenarios for literally thousands of scenarios. So whether you want to jump in and train for like 5 minutes or 5 hours, this is the key to mastering preflop GTO ranges. It's currently in the beta version. If you see any errors, feel free to send us an email. But it's available in our Android and iOS app and also on the website. Let me show you how to use this program. Step number 1, load up the web page, load up the app. Choose the stack size you want to study. You get to pick literally the stack depth you want to play. Next, choose your position. You get to choose the exact position you want to study. Next, choose what action you want to have been taken from the opponent. Maybe you know that you're bad at playing in 3-bet scenarios, for example. If you're bad at playing in 3-bet scenarios, study 3-bet spots. So in this scenario, we're 30 big blinds deep, the cutoff raises. We are facing a 3-bet from, pick which position you want for your opponent, the button. Now, you're going to start playing. We are going to show you a spot like this. We raise the cutoff, button 3-bets, small blind and big blind fold. And now, here we are. What do we do with pocket jacks? You have to click which option you want. And then, if we go all in, that's the right answer, 40 big blinds deep. You should know this if you studied the charts or gone through clear the charts. You got it right. You do not get an X. X's are bad. So you want to get all the hands in the entire range correct while making fewer than 5 mistakes. This is easier said than done. Now, I realize some hands are going to be using mixed strategies, and that is okay. The goal is to keep playing until you have cleared the entire charts. And whether you want to be getting in for a little bit of time or a lot of time, this is by far the best way I have found to teach people game theory optimal ranges. And it's available right now for Poker Coaching Premium members in the Android and iPhone apps, and also on the website, so check it out. Also, if you join pokercoaching.com right now, you will get exclusive access to our new course, Crush the World Series of Poker. In this World Series of Poker prep course, you're going to get everything you need to know to crush tournament series like the World Series of Poker. Our coaches are going to take you through pre-flop, post-flop, ICM. They're going to focus on deep runs. And we have a lot of great content from players who have been absolutely crushing it. Justin Sleba got a bracelet earlier this year. Aram Zobian's final table to main event made other deep runs. Jonathan Jaffe's been smashing it. Matt Affleck's always in there grinding. There's me. Sometimes I show up. And you're going to learn a ton. Also, if you join Poker Coaching Premium today, during our Independence Day sale, you're going to get access to our advanced tournament course, which we normally sell for $997, just included. We're on the website. It is in the tools section. Also, bonus number 2. I coached a small group of students twice a month for 5 years. I've been here a while. I'm not going anywhere. This is not one of those channels where we make a lot of content for a month and we fall off the face of the earth. Every 2 weeks for 5 years, I coached a group of students and we recorded everything. They let me record everything. We did this with their consent, of course. We have over 240 hours of coaching. And these videos are not for sale, but if you join Poker Coaching Premium right now, not during our Father's Day sale, during our Independence Day sale, you get free access to those videos. Also, if you sign up during our 4th of July sale, you're going to be getting a free subscription to Poker Go Premium. You're going to get a free subscription to Poker Go so that you can watch the main event. With any luck, I'm going to win the tournament. I'm pretty sure I'm going to win the tournament. I might as well. I haven't won the main event yet. That would be good. Maybe you can watch me win the main event on Poker Go. Also, premium members get exclusive access to our course, How to Bink Tournaments. In this series, Rampage, who's always in there rampaging, and Brock Wilson go through lots of hands that Rampage played, including some of Rampage's biggest punts, some bluffs that were actually good, and everything else in between. Rampage gets after it. He's been studying a ton. After his very first coaching session with Brock, he won a high roller tournament against some of the best players in the world, and since then, he has gone on to cash for a whole lot more, and that is excellent to see. Premium members also get access to our course, How to Run Deep in Large Field Tournaments. Running deep in large field tournaments is tough, and Aram Zobian has done it multiple times, including a 6th place finish a few years back in the main event for $1.8 million, and he's done it many other times since then in gigantic field tournaments. He discusses how to really focus on exploitative play and navigating the different stages of a tournament. It's really getting into the psychology of how a lot of your opponents will be playing. you have any other questions on poker coaching, premium members get access to over 750 classes that we have recorded and continuously upload on a very regular basis. Ken says Aram's course is great. It absolutely is. I learned a lot in the process of going through it. Kent says he's getting through season 2 right now. Excellent. We are always updating new content on poker coaching on a regular basis, and we just released season 2 of Aram's course. We also have over 2,000 interactive hand quizzes on poker coaching. Every few days, we upload a brand new hand that you can go through and play, and you get in real-time feedback on how to play every single betting round of a hand. I actually just recorded a new giant batch of them just a few days ago, and they are currently being uploaded to the site. If you're not seeing it in the tools section, send us an email to support@pokercoaching.com. If you have any questions about anything pertaining to our site, send us an email to support@pokercoaching.com, and they will answer you quickly. So that's it. That's our Independence Day sale at pokercoaching.com. You can get in there at pokercoaching.com/July 4. You also get to watch the main event for free. We're giving you lots of bonuses. Check it out. Is there any more content from Alex Fitzgerald coming in the near future? Yeah, Alex makes content for us on a regular basis when he gets around to it. He likes to make a lot of content sometimes and no content sometimes. I've found that allowing coaches to do whatever they want within reason makes them happy and motivated, and whatever works for them works for me, because I have hand selected my group of top pros to make the content that I wish existed. I mean, Brock has been absolutely smashing it recently. He's been smashing it ever since he's been playing. Jonathan Jaffe, super crusher. Justin Saliba, just GTO, super duper poker master. He knows everything about GTO. Here we have Matt Affleck. He's been a grinder for a long time. And Rampage, kind of new to the scene, but he's been absolutely rampaging the field. So yeah, that's that. Hope you all enjoyed today's show. If you did, click the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to learn more about the sale, go to pokercoaching.com/July 4. If you're skeptical about the site, you think it's a scam, probably because you've been to some other sites and you didn't love it. We have 100% money day back 100% 30-day money back guarantee. Sign up, and if you do not like it, send us an email within 30 days, and I will give you a full refund for whatever reason you'd like. If you want to scam me, you can. A lot of people don't scam me. They realize we're adding substantial value. So yeah, don't really know what more you want from me. Go to the site. Check it out. If you don't like it, let me know within 30 days and you get all your money back. Easy peasy. Don't know what more you want from me. I've spent the last, many years of my life making the site for you. I have made tons and tons of content for all of you. I've hired the best coaches in the world, and I'm very, very, very excited to be able to deliver it to you. Good luck in all of your games. Have fun. I'm excited to get out there to the World Series of Poker and battle it out. If you have any questions about the site, send an email to support@pokercoaching.com and check it out at pokercoaching.com/July 4. Thank you all for being here. Good luck in your games. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.